Alright, good evening. So, I didn't practice my 6 Ps. We were going to install the tuners today, or this evening I should say. But I have a drill and no drill bits, so we can't drill the holes for the tuners. But we can go ahead and get these nibbled down, trimmed off, and ready to be drilled. And I figured since I can't get them installed, we'll go ahead and polish the frets. So I have a little trick to give you guys, at least from my opinion, if you have to tape off a fretboard. But before we do that, I want to get rid of these things because I'm tired of them poking everything as I'm trying to work with it. But let's get these trimmed down, and we'll just use a nice sharp pair of I use these little snap-on side cutters for wire, and this is really soft wood, so it doesn't hurt the cutting edge on it. But anyways, I used to use a nice set like that, so it gives a nice clean cut. If you use the cheapy ones, it just kind of leave a little pyramid shape because it'll more smash and break it off than it will cut it off. So I like to use a good set of cutters. It doesn't have to be snap-on, but just make sure it's a nice set that's really sharp. And I've had those for, my God, 30 plus years. So if you get a good set, they're not going to let you down. So anyhow, after you get them all nibbled down, you can see you have little high spots. Okay, now you don't want that, because when you go to stick the drill on there, it can skate to the left or right, plus it looks bad. So let's go ahead and zoom in, and I'll show you guys what I do to knock off those little nubs. I think that'll work. So I should have showed you before I zoomed way in, but you can see here I just got a cheapy Harbor Freight X-Acto knife kit. And what I do is I get the blade that's kind of straight but at an angle, and it's flat, so just come up to the point where you're up against it and just rock it back and forth. I pushed a little too hard there, but that's the trick to it. Just keep doing that any direction you have to. Be careful you don't slip like I did and go across the finish. I like to try to go in towards where the tuner's gonna be, and then I'll spin the neck around. And the other side's a little more difficult because you're trying to get across the whole finished edge, and now you're more at an angle than you are flat. So if you're comfortable, you can do it either way. I'm not gonna go that way again because it's not mine, it's Pop's. So yeah, and if you're having a hard time with it, you just work around it. You do have a little glue there that you're gonna have to contend with, but just keep going at it until you have it nice and smooth. That way when your drill bit hits it, the drill bit doesn't skate right or left. Now there will be, like I said, a little bit of glue left around the edge from when you glued it up, but if you used a damp rag and then wiped it off, you shouldn't have too much issue. Good. So now normally after I got this step done, we'd go ahead and throw the tuners in, tape down a straight edge next to it, get them all nice and set, at least get one started, and just work your way up it, make sure they stay straight. But we're not going to do that tonight, obviously. We will drop a tuner in though and see how much of that does it cover. I'm going to get a little dangerous here. Because if they sit in there just right, this part of the tuner should go right over top of that toothpick filling. Getting a little dangerous here. I got some glue to contend with around this one. There we go. If you hold down on it with your other finger, it helps you from getting away and going too fast. And again, rocking it. This is just my opinions here. I'm not professional by any means. Just things that I've done to try to figure stuff out. So if you got an easier way, let me know. Yep. Alright, let's zoom out and then take a look at that. Nope, wrong way. Out, not in. Cooperate. Look at that. Alright. There we go. It didn't want to cooperate. So that's the name of the game. Get that nice and as flat as can be. That one feels a little high right there. So I'm going to get that one again. And then I didn't clean it because of the purpose of I have to get all these glued up. So it's like, well, there's no point in trying to clean it right now. There we go. That feels better. Just got to try to get it as smooth as you possibly can. That way your drill bit don't deviate and your screw don't go crooked. Yeah, that feels good. So even though that is kind of a satiny finish, it is got a glossy finish to it. So I'll get that cleaned up and polished. But before I do that, let's go ahead and finish polishing up all these frets. But it's nice to be able to set that down and not have all them toothpicks making it roll over and stuff. So anyways, when I tape up these, I mean, I got a ton of different sizes, but if you don't have the fancy StewMac thing with 900 different sizes, you're gonna have to cut it down. So what I like to do is always, obviously, I mean, I could use the green, but I figured keep it uniform, we'll use yellow. When you tape off your fretboard, you're doing it to keep any kind of compounds and garbage, especially if you have a rosewood or ebony fretboard. It's got open pores, so it's going to absorb everything that you put on there. So the tape is to protect the fretboard, you know, and also like on this, the clear finish, you don't want to burn through the finish or anything. But when you have to tape, I always like to take and set against the top of the lower fret first, like this, and then get your nail up in here and get that to fold in before you even start to roll it over. Get that in there nice like that, because when you're holding your guitar, you're looking down at it. When you got the guitar on a stand or hanging on a wall, you're looking down at the frets. If for any reason that you should slip or not cut it right, it's underneath of the fret, not above it. So just keep that in mind. If you're, it's just my opinion, okay? It makes it easier for me anyways. So you just, I'm gonna set this down. Just cut at an angle towards the bottom of that fret. When you get to the end, just kind of come towards you, a little bit of a slice. I didn't get all the way through. And then when you can pull it back, you can just tear the other side, doesn't matter. All you're doing is trying to protect that fret. So just cut it at an angle to the underside of the fret above it. That way, if you are away a little bit and you leave a groove by accident, it's going to camouflage it for the most part when you're looking down at it. You know, it's hanging on a rack or on a stand or anything. The other thing I like to do is just go ahead and give that a little bit of a fold right there and then roll it over, because if not, you're going to spend a ton of time trying to dig this stuff off. See, just little flappy rolled over, and then it's a lot easier to get this stuff started, and you're not yanking and pulling on it and trying to dig it off and leaving more scratches with your nails. So anyways, that's what I like to do when I tape up a neck. Don't know if that's helpful or not. If you guys know a better way, let me know, because it does take a while, but it does keep stuff out of the fretboard. So the other thing we're going to use here is the Dremel. They come with, I bought an extra kit for it too. Wonder if it has any polish pads in it. It does. It has some other pads and stuff in it, but we're using this little white foam pad right here, and they have a lot of different sizes and shapes too, so you can polish different parts. So that's what we're using. And then, oop, I gotta get one of these out. They come with these little compounds. So that's what we're gonna be using tonight, is the little compound that came with it. And we're just gonna stick it on low. And I'll do just a few of these. I won't make you guys go through them all. We got a bunch of compound on there. Guess we'll just start down here at the little ones and just get it rubbed on there nice, back and forth, both side to side. Spread that compound out. Looks like on about the third one there I'm running out, so now I'm going to crank it up to high and go from here up there to these first three. Alright, so again, I'm not going to bore you guys trying to do them all, but that's the whole reason that you put the tape on there, so you don't burn the finish with the buffing wheel or get all that ground into your grain. And you can see it's quite messy. So again, you won't see me use microfibers or washcloths too often, but microfiber isn't going to hurt the fret. So we're going to use that to wipe these off real quick, just to kind of show you guys the difference between these bottom three and the rest of them. Now, of course, I'll spend a little bit more time on these, and I'll work the whole neck, wipe it off, and then peel the tape and clean it and then polish it. But yeah, so just cleans them up, makes them a little more shiny, smooths out anything, dirt or anything like that that's on them. They definitely feel a lot smoother. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and hit the rest of these, and then before I untape it, I'm going to go ahead. I got some flat files here. I'm going to go ahead and get a few of these little edges, just a couple spots where there's a little bit of fret sprout. So I'm just going to hit them lightly. I'm not going to go nutty fruitcake and do every single one. There was just a couple that I felt that need some attention. So I'll hit them before I pull the tape off as well, and then I'll check them once the tape is off and I get it clean. If I have to, I'll retape an area and work on a certain one or whatever. But so anyways, that's where we're going to get to tonight. I'll go ahead and finish this up, do it off film. And then I'll pull the tape off, maybe we'll clean it together, and then install those tuners in the next video. So till then, don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, practice your 6 P's and you won't be like me, you'll remember your drill bits. If you don't know what the 6 P's are, it's prior planning prevents poor performance. Alright, here we are, all polished up. Got all them frets polished. I think that's going to look real good. They're nice and smooth now. Let's go ahead and check this out. Let's turn it around where it got more light here. And it does indeed look like it will cover that toothpick hole. Oop, wrong way, duh. What am I doing? It's not a Gibson. And let's see, I need to set this up on something. That's spray wax that you see there, not water. Yeah, once you get it in there, to just cover over it. Now if I just had a drill bit, practice your 6Ps. That's all I gotta say. Alright, well we'll get to that next. It looks like it's gonna work out just fine and cover the old screw hole there. So we lucked out. There'll just be a little bit of a shadow. And again, we'll have to get that just set dead nuts. That's another reason you want to make sure that you get all these toothpick fillers as flat as you possibly can, because it will also make a big difference when you go setting these. Like this one right here, I'm going to trim down a little more. And I'm going to work on those two just a smidgen more. But yeah, you want them nice and flat. That way it doesn't make your tuner go cattywampus or your drill bit or anything like that. So really, the main part of doing a good job is just the prep work you do prior to it. So just remember that, keep that in mind. And until next time, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.